10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes on this absolute scorching Friday day. If you're in the house, why are you in the house watching me? Get outside and have a beer. Just like Mike is. Hello, Mike.
Hiya.
Having a lovely drink in his back garden after a horrible shift like me in a horrible stinking factory or warehouse. And Maro as well. I'm guessing it's hotter where you are, mate.
Hi, guys. Yeah, 33 today.
Oof.
Oh, blimey.
Jesus, I think we hit 28, 29, 30 as well, to be fair. So we're matching you. But this show is all about looking ahead to the game tomorrow. Obviously, we're playing Brighton at the Amex Stadium. It's going to be a very interesting game. We've got some stats, figures, players to talk about, stuff that other channels probably haven't done or looked at. So hopefully this will be a bit fresh and a bit different for you. But I want to kick it off with a bit of transfer stuff first of all. So it has come out that Eddie Howe is very interested in signing Pulisic from Chelsea on loan. We mentioned him in our last video that there was a chance of him coming on loan. So it's nice to see that that's actually breaking. Mike, out of any of the Chelsea stars that are up for loan, I think there's Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi and Ziyech. Would you take any of those for yourself at Brighton?
I love Ziyech at Brighton. That would be some signing, that. But yes, I mean, their players are always out on loan, aren't they? Seem to have often more players on loan than they announce in their squad. So I don't know. I mean, any one of them would be decent. So yeah.
Which one would you take, Maro?
Pulisic.
Yeah.
Pulisic, definitely. I think he would be perfect for our right wing. If not, then Hudson-Odoi, but he's a bit injury prone, so Pulisic first option.
He hasn't played for a while either, Hudson-Odoi, so that would be interesting if he came. But Pulisic, I don't know. We're going, sorry, Mike?
I'd actually like us to go in for Gallagher just to piss Palace off.
I wonder if Steve's watching.
See you in a minute.
We'll see him in a minute. Yeah, the chat. No, he's not said anything yet. But yeah, I mean, Gallagher is apparently someone we're also maybe looking at. It's going to be very, very interesting. There's the Twitter trend at the moment. Nick Pope, obviously, he was he was in Burger King. Burger King liked Nick Pope, so Toon Polls decided to take over Twitter and got Nick Pope trending to #1 spot, which is just absolutely crazy. Just the name Nick Pope, and everyone's got on the bandwagon on it. I was talking to Mike in the background about it. It's just absolutely crazy what's going on. Even lads, any news on transfer? So I mentioned Pulisic there. Definitely someone we're interested in getting on loan. Let's go. Very good evening, Barry. Evening, Paul. Thanks for joining as always. Evening, Blade. We enjoyed the show last night. It was fun. And good evening, everyone. So we've obviously mentioned a little bit about transfer news. This has also interested me. Would you take any of these, Mike? These are all free transfers right now. It's not a bad 11.
No. I mean, yeah, that isn't a bad 11, is it?
I was shocked when I saw this, when I saw some of the names on there. I mean, I would take Cavani if we were desperate at the end of the window, if we haven't got a striker. Belotti I would take if we were desperate for a striker. Sergio Aurier is a bit of a strange one, but he's got talent. I'm trying to... Anyone else? Marcelo maybe as well. Coyote is not a bad player. Januzaj's had his moments. Fabian Delph's probably past it in one matter. I mean, his technical ability is absolutely fantastic. He is a little bit past it though, maybe. But for someone to fill in your squad, I mean, you've obviously lost a few players. Would you take any of them in the 11?
I mean, anyone who's left-footed, to be honest.
Januzaj is both-footed, isn't he?
Yeah.
Marcelo would fit in well at left back.
Yeah, no, Marcelo would be brilliant. I think wages might be an issue.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
You need Big Sam to negotiate his contract. He got them at Bolton, didn't he? Back in
I know, crazy.
Maro, would you fancy any of them at Newcastle?
I would take Cavani or Belotti for our striker position to cover for Wilson, and I also like Jason Denayer of Lyon. He's a good stopper, but we have really 3 good stoppers. Even Botman can get in the first team now, so if it was a replacement for Lascelles or something, but he's a good player, really good stopper.
Within time, Maro, Botman will be a starter. Evening, Richard. There's a few people putting their thoughts in. Belotti. Hi, Paul. How you doing, brother? Like talking to each other. Hi, Richard. Belotti. Evening, Barry, Maro, and Mike. We have a big game tomorrow. We do have a big game tomorrow. Hey, guys, says Graham. And hey, Mark, just having my first drink of the week. Don't talk about drink. I've got work tomorrow. It's not fair. So, Mike, you wanted to talk about these two, about how Brighton are going to manage with losing 2 big names, I guess. I mean, Cucurella, you've pulled Chelsea's pants down with that. And Pasuma as well. I mean, all I can say is well done to Brighton for sticking to their guns, because you wouldn't let them go for anything less than more than what they're worth. Man City came in for Cucurella and said 50 million, take it or leave it. And he said, well, get lost. And then Chelsea come in.
It was less than that. It was like 30 million they come in with. It was like, and we were like, no way. It's like 50 minimum.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't go that far. So.
And then Chelsea went over the top.
Yeah. Basuma was a great bit of business, because he was in the last year of his deal. So to get rising up to 35 million for that, for him was, don't get me wrong, fantastic player, and he's one of the best players I've seen at Brighton in a Brighton shirt. But how do we cope with them? Well, with Basuma, we got a player called Moises Caicedo, who you probably saw last week against Man United. Yeah. Fantastic Ecuadorian. He's only young, he's only 20. But it's like he's played with us forever. He's just so good. I would argue that he's better than Basuma potentially.
Wow.
And then we've got McAllister, who's suddenly developed into a great holding midfielder. So those two between them, one stays, one sits, one goes. And we have an advanced midfielder in front of them. So, but yeah, that's good. The Cucurella thing is a little bit different. I guess once he put in a transfer request, he's never going to stay. That's it, really. Once a player does that, it kind of, the club's really sort of held over a barrel. But fair play to Tony Bloom. He's like, we got a price in mind, and Chelsea went up to 52, and we went no. It went up to 55 in the end plus add-ons, so potentially over 60 million. But I mean, it's again another fantastic player. It's kind of left a bit of a sour taste the way he went with the fans, but hey, that's just football. He doesn't owe us anything. Didn't come through our youth. So he's got no reason to be loyal to us, I guess. And he used us as a step.
Oh, froze a little bit. I think he's using us as a stepping stone, I think is what he was going to say there.
Yeah, there we go again. How do we replace him? That's a little bit more difficult. We did get Colwell as part of the deal, and he's a left-footed but predominantly centre-half, but he can play in that position. Did come on at the end of the Man United game. But I think what a lot of people forget is that Trossard's actually played as a wing-back for Belgium.
Right.
He played in that position for Belgium. Martinez played him there in one of their qualifiers. So he's no stranger to playing there. I mean, obviously you hamper him going forward, and he's a great attacking player, but he is someone in there, I believe, temporarily who can do a job. I still think we're we're on the market for a left back. That's all the noises that's coming from people like Andy Naylor, who are local press. So we are still after a left back, but I don't think we're in any rush to spend money. As you know, once you've got like a bit of capital behind you, the prices go up, and like clubs try to screw you down, players' agents try to screw you down. So I don't think the club's going to rush into anything, but I do think they will get someone eventually. But it's going to take time, and let's face it, a lot of us are in for the same players. So there's a lot of competition in that area. So I think you saw from last Sunday, how we did cope without them, and apart from the first 5 minutes, we handled that situation really well and gave Man United a bit of a spanking, to be fair. So that's kind of how I see it, and kind of I don't think the team will change very much on Saturday, but we'll get to that, I guess, later.
Yes, we will. Some breaking news from Newcastle United's official account, and it's something that we broke 2 days ago now. The signing of, I can't remember his name, Jude Smith, 19-year-old keeper who was on Celtic's books. He's over for a trial. He's really impressed, so we've signed him. Again, doesn't take up a squad place. He will go into the under-23s and hopefully develop into a cracking goalkeeper into the future. So there you go. There's another one we got right. Hey. But apparently I've got a strike rate of 0 according to some people. I don't get anything right, but there you go. Haters will hate. What can I say? We try our best. There was a good one. Sorry, Mara, I'll be coming to you very soon, I promise, mate. But Richard's asked this question for Mike. Would Dan Burn get into the Seagulls' defence now?
Without a doubt. No one's got anything bad to say about the man. He was fantastic for us. He left to go to his dream club. It was his dream move. I expect him to get a really good reception tomorrow. A lot of us have been talking about that on Twitter. Yeah. So without a doubt, he would be in our team, and he would still be the first choice had he not gone. And you know, it's sad, but it's, you know, that's what he wanted to do, and I think it's probably a great deal for everyone in the end.
Yeah. He's got a good price. We got the player we wanted, and he's solid. And no one expected him to perform the way he has, to be honest with you. I don't know if he excelled his expectations from your side, looking at what he's done at Newcastle as well, or did you think that is the player? Yeah,
he's kind of continued how he was with us, to be honest. This is kind of how he was with us. He came here with apart from Wigan, who were Wigan and I guess Fulham, he was at for a while. But apart from these fans, a lot of people, why are you signing this player? You know, he's just not Premiership class, and I guess that was in his head, and he just proved everyone wrong, and he's still proving people wrong. And it's fantastic when you get that sort of story where he's worked his way up through divisions and earned his right to play at your club. You know, and that's a good story.
It's a great story. It's nice to see a local lad come home and do well, even though he is in his 30s. He still looks solid. We're going to come to the team news soon, but Roy, thank you very much again for the 50 Corona. He does this nearly every show. It's absolutely incredible and so generous. So thank you very much. Some more good questions in the chat, but we'll come to them later on. Evening, Cal. Thanks for joining. One, thanks for the kind comments as well on the show last night. We really appreciate it. He's the one who said, I hope you never get Sean Casey on. Tomorrow's game will be very tough for Newcastle, so I'm going for a 1-1 draw. And Reagent's gone 2-1 to Newcastle. So we'll come to score predictions near the end of the game. Maro, going to bring you in now. We're going to talk a bit about this man, Joelinton, and how much of an asset he's going to be tomorrow. Because if we are going to come away from the Amex with anything, this man needs to be on top form, doesn't he? Making sure Brighton don't break our lines quickly.
Definitely, he's our midfield dynamo, and he was the second best rated player in the first round. And if he want to get anything out of Brighton tomorrow, he needs to play at his best, definitely.
Mike, what have you thought of Joelinton since his resurgence as a player? 2 years in the wilderness as a striker, and then suddenly he's one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, outside the top four.
It's like watching a different player, isn't it? I mean, it just goes to show that We were talking on the other show about Mitrovic and with Silva, he's the way they coach, and I think this is probably the same with Joelinton. That Eddie Howe comes in and gets the players doing what they're good at. You know what they can excel at, and know he's coached well and he's been a revelation. Like I say, it's like looking at a completely different player from when he was playing under Bruce. But then that goes for a lot of your players, to be honest. But yeah, it's amazing. A great asset for you guys. Really, really impressed with him.
Good. See, I told you Mike knows his stuff. Let's move on to one of your players. You've already mentioned one of them we're going to talk about in a bit, but Pascal Groß, just what a performance against Man United. His passing accuracy and all that sort of stuff wasn't fantastic, but you put the ball in the back of the net twice, coolly and calmly. It's not the first time he's done it against Man United. He got an 8 out of 10 rating. What did you make of his performance, Mike, and what can he bring to the table on Saturday?
So I think the thing with Pascal is he's probably his main asset is his delivery normally. He's quite accurate like set pieces, but he is like the player who's kind of a little bit underrated by a lot of our fans, because he's not got any pace. That's his downfall. If he had pace, he'd be playing for like Bayern Munich or something like that. He's just so comfortable on the ball. He's such an asset in our team. The squad love him. The manager loves him. And as you saw, he's getting in the right positions in the box. He tends to play just in front of Solly March. That's where he's been playing, and they link up really well. Watch tomorrow and do the obligatory Pascal Groß turn, because he does like a cross turn. He does it every game, and we're just gobsmacked. The defenders just haven't like cottoned onto it. Catches every team out every week. But the guy's just amazing. He got a new deal recently and thoroughly deserved. He's been such a good player for us. And like I say, probably not the first one you think of when you think of Brighton, but very appreciated by me and I think a lot of the fans who kind of like look at the team a bit more as a whole than of individual players and performances. Yeah.
Maro, do you agree with what's been said there from what you've seen of Brighton?
Absolutely. Brighton was always one of my favorite teams in England. I always liked them, and like Graham Potter as a coach and the way they play. And I was afraid, you can say, of them when they lost Bissouma and Cucurella. But even though Man United is in a bit of a mess, you played magnificently, really. Welbeck, McAllister, they played great last game. And then I really wish you all the best, except tomorrow. After tomorrow, you can win all.
Same.
Obviously, we've got to talk about this man. I mean, he was our man of the match in the last game, even though he got a 7 in the ratings from a certain journalist in the paper. Crazy, absolutely crazy. 63 accurate passes, 95 touches, key passes free, duels won 12, tackles won 3. It just shows you he can do it as a number 6. Sitting there winning the ball, bringing it forward. If Brighton want to win anything tomorrow, they've got to stop Bruno, haven't they, really? That's what they've got to be looking at.
Definitely. He's our motor at the minute, and everything starts for him. He comes deep to get the ball, he progresses with it, or he makes passes. So if they want to get anything out of the game, they have to stop Bruno first.
Yeah, he's just class. What have you made of Bruno, Mike?
Oh, he's just class player, isn't he? He's like one of those players you look at and you think out of any of the Newcastle players at Brighton, that would be the one. And I think most Premier League clubs would be the same. You know, the guys. I mean, last year towards the end of the season when he started getting in your team, he is just unbelievable. You know, and the goals he was scoring were just phenomenal. But you know, he can score the simple goals as well as spectacular.
Yeah.
But I liked. Last week, there was a different side of him. There was, like, I hadn't seen that before. You probably had, but I hadn't seen that. The kind of holding, like, disciplined performance, which was really, really impressive.
It's his favourite position. But with Shelvey there, they've played Bruno more of an advancement in the midfield.
Yeah.
But with Shelvey injured, they've dropped him back in that anchor role, which is his favourite position. And he just looked like a Rolls Royce. That's the best way to describe him. He was just fantastic. And every time we come to watch a game now, it's always, where's Bruno playing? What's Bruno going to be doing? He's become a cult hero already, even more than Joelinton after his resurgence. So it just shows you what we think of him. But again, if like I say, if we're going to get anything out of the game, he's got to be 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 if we want to win the game. So it's going to be interesting. If you stop him playing, you've got a chance. But then you've got ASM to worry about as well. So it's going to be interesting. Question from Alan there. Hi, Baz. What's your thoughts on KK coming to chat to the players about old times? Personally, think it's a brilliant idea. KK could sell black and white tops in Sunderland. I think it's amazing. I think Kevin Keegan's enthusiasm for the area and for the club itself, and basically talking about how good the football was back in the day and what it was like playing for the club. There's no harm in it. I hope he gets an ambassador's role in the future if he wants it. But he was a top player and a top manager for us, even though he didn't win anything and he blew the title. Makes me sick every time I think about it. There's just people at work were talking about it today. I was like, I don't want to talk about it. It still hurts to this day. You just don't get it. Maro, what do you think of KK coming in and having a chat to the players? It can only help, can't it?
Definitely, it can only help, and he's a great motivator, always was, and him speaking about the good old times can only be a good thing and help the team. And Eddie Howe said a number of times already that he respects that time when entertainers were playing under Keegan, and he wants to do something similar again. So I think bringing Kevin can only be a good thing.
Yeah, Mike, have Brighton done anything like that in the past, or is doing it now? Maybe
I don't know. I mean, we've got lots of ambassadors at the club. I know that I think Bobby Zamora offered to be our attacking coach. So but I don't think we've done anything like that. But sometimes I guess with that sort of thing, you just assume the players get it, that they get what it means to play for like Newcastle, and the same as with Brighton, but I don't think they always do. So I think when you've got someone with that who's been within the fabric of the club and knows it and's got the passion that you guys share, then it can only be a positive thing.
Yeah. Ballon d'Or winner as well, of course. You know, the people respect him for who he actually is as a player as well as a manager and a person. So it can only help. That's the way I see it. Yeah. Foxy, yes, I do remember. I don't know if you can remember, Mike, but Foxy did say Caicedo will get his chance, he'll shine. He did say that on a show last season. I do actually remember him saying that. So well done to Foxy.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
He does.
Definitely.
And there's that super sticker. If anyone else would like to donate tonight, it's just a $sign in the bottom right-hand corner. Anything from £1 upwards, it goes back into the channel and towards prizes. Replica shirts as well, stuff like that. It's fake, but it looks amazing. I like that. Besides the first team, we are building for the future. We are... is that a Norway flag?
Yeah.
I don't know what that one's for. Hi, damn. Nick Pope. Everyone's trying to get Nick Pope trending. I love it. All right, fellas. Tight game tomorrow, but I think Brighton will nick it 2-1 victory. Ooh, Stephen. It's good to see you back, though, mate. Everton have got a tough game away to Villa as well, haven't they? Miggy's Pace will keep their left side back. Maximum will keep their right side occupied. We need Wilson and another runner through the middle up front. Another runner would be Willock, I suppose. Hi, everyone in chat. Not many likes. Come on, smash the like button. It's free. Help Barry with the algorithm on YouTube and share the show to your mates. Thanks for that, Paul. So hit the thumbs up button, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the channel and enjoy the chat. Bruno, Newcastle Saviour, Arsenal, worst nightmare. Share to LinkedIn. Yep. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. Yes, we're going to come on to that. So might as well talk about it now. Apparently, Nick Pope is a doubt for the match, Maro. It's only broke on Twitter in the last half an hour. So we've already picked our team. Nick Pope's in it. What do you make of that? I've got no idea what the injury is about, though, and why.
I'm surprised. Haven't heard about that one, but would be a minus for tomorrow, because in the first game, although he didn't have much to do, what he had to do, he did magnificently. So if he's not in the first 11 tomorrow, it will be a minus.
What do you make of that, Mike? Are you happy to hear that Dubravka? I mean, Dubravka's no mug and goal either, but Pope, I don't know, he just seemed to have that little bit of extra coolness about him against Forest, the way he collects crosses quite easily.
I think it'd be a shame for you guys if that's true. I think, I've always quite liked Dubravka. I think the thing that you guys have pointed out is probably his distribution's not as great as probably Pope's, but I don't think, it's a minus, but I don't think it's a devastating loss for you as if it was a Bruno or a Joelinton. It's sort of different story. So, I think, why that'd be a positive for us. I don't think it's necessarily a be-all and end-all for you guys.
Yeah. Definitely, if Wilson was injured, that would be a massive positive, wouldn't it? Because then you know what Wood brings, don't you? So
exactly that. Yeah,
I get that. Right, Mike. This is the other player you wanted to talk about. We wanted to talk about with you. This is our respect slide. Obviously, again, this guy was magnificent against Man United. You have touched on him very, very quickly, but 82.4% passing accuracy. Played the whole 90 minutes, 51 touches, ground duels won 6, key passes 3, and aerial duels won 2. Another 8 out of 10 rating. Would you say that was fair? And what kind of a performance was it against Man United?
Yeah, I mean, the guy is just phenomenal. As I say, he is a natural midfielder. Sort of holding midfielder, but he can push forward as well. I mean, the great thing about him and McAllister is that when we played against Espanyol, one of them would go and the other, so you find one of them in the 6-yard box, and one of them might even be playing almost like a centre half, which happened again against Man United. So they will track any runs through your centre midfield. They'll be tracking those. The guy is 20, but he plays like he's sort of 26, 27. He's in the prime of his career. He's going to the World Cup with Ecuador. It's going to be really amazing to see him there. As Foxy said, and he did say, I do remember that, the guy went out on loan, which we do with a lot of the players, and you'll probably do the same going forward. He came back because the loan wasn't really working, so we called him back. And then within a few weeks, he was put in the first team, and he hasn't looked back since. I would even say he's probably, after Robert Sanchez, the first player on Potter's sort of list. He's just phenomenal. He's so good. I can't praise him enough. And I mean, he totally bossed. Well, they all did. They bossed Man United, but him in particular, that midfield, just McTominay and Fred, which is quite poor. I'll give that, but. Even so, you can only play what's in front of you, and he totally dominated that. And that's why he's good. He's good at pressing. He's good at tracking. He's good at tackling. He's not good at heading, as you pointed out there, but that's not his strength. But yeah, great player, and I think you'll see that tomorrow again. You'll see him play in that sort of role and excelling again in that position.
Would he be someone you'd be struggled to keep a hold of maybe in a season's time, do you think? Or
I think, I actually, particularly if he has a good World Cup as well, I think that's a player that other teams will be looking at and be scouting. And I think he's another player that's destined for a bigger side than Brighton. Brighton, we have to be realistic. We're not a player. Hassan Hulter said the same thing with Southampton. Every player's got a price. At Brighton, if someone comes in with 60 million for Caicedo, we're probably not going to turn that down. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. That's just the type of where we are as a club. We can't compete financially with the bigger clubs, and we're not in Europe. So the pool of that is just, like you saw that with Cucurella, and most definitely he's a player. I think I'd be more gutted to lose Moises Caicedo than I was to lose Basuma or Cucurella. He's just such a good player, and he'd be so hard to replace. He just gives us so much, but no doubt there is a player that top sides are going to be looking at, and he will go probably sooner rather than later. I don't think it'll happen this season, but possibly in the summer or the season after, without a doubt.
1 second. Ashworth, we've got a player for you. I'm sure he knows about him already anyway, won't he? So he's probably the man who brought him to the club. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but we could go back and raid any of Ashworth's signings potentially. He does look quality, and he could be someone we might be interested in the future if we get to Europe. There's no reason why you guys might not get there this season. You just never know. If it's true about Pope, I might boost Dubs to show how good he is and try to keep Pope out of the team. It's very true. When one man goes down, there's another man to fill the shoes, isn't there? And in that position in the goalkeeper, if you perform well enough, you don't get moved back out the sticks, do you? So unless you're Peter Schmeichel, of course, back in the day. Hi, Barry. We need Nick Pope to go as England's first choice. Before you reply, just think about it. Playing for Newcastle United, I hope so. It's going to be hard to move Dinosaur Arms out of goal because he's a different player when he plays for England. So if the Buffer wants to leave, he has a massive chance to show all just how good he is. Yeah, exactly. Evening, Bards, and the boys. Hope you're all well. Great, Mark. Thanks for joining and watching, as always. Right, Mike, this is your starting 11. Do you want to talk us through it and where you think the game could be won from your side?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I don't see there being many changes from the Man United game. I think you will try and press us high, and I think we'll try and bypass that press like we did against Man United. That'd be the key. So I think when we played you and we beat you 3-0, the plan was to push some maximum back. So it's kind of nullifies your pace. So I expect it to be something similar to that. The only provisos in here could be that Lallana starts, or he might put Lamptey in for his pace. But I think where we will win it is if we win it will be the midfield, and I think that goes for you as well. I think that the midfield, and we're pretty hard to break down at the back with the partnership Webster and Dunk and Veltman. That trio there is pretty solid. So that's kind of keeping Callum Wilson. It sounds easy, keeping Callum Wilson quiet. Pushing some maximum back so he doesn't offer the same threat going forward, and then try and dominate in the middle. And that's where I guess we will try and do. And then Welbeck, who just looked like a different player last week.
He did.
Getting him involved and hopefully, he was ill as well, he said, against Man United. So, he got a bug off his daughter. So, but yeah, I guess that would be Welbeck. And I mean, the thing with Graham Potter, as you know, and I've said this to you before, he's so hard to second guess. He might play a completely different lineup. We've got a couple of players. We got Undav, who scored loads in the Belgium League last year. And we've also got a guy called Matoma, who's a very exciting, Japanese player. Again, going to the World Cup and going forward, he's going to be some player for us. But I think because of how they played last week, because of how we dealt with the Man United press, and yes, you're right, Maro, that the Man United were brittle, and it's a great time to play them. But even so, I would think we would play that way again. Sorry about that.
It's all right. You've trained your dog well. As soon as it said Man United, it went nuts. Attack, kill.
Yeah.
I've just got to point something out, though. A few people have noticed it in the chat. You've got Pazuma back in your team.
Oh, do you know what? That was because I copied the team from last year and I was changing the names and I went, that's just wishful thinking there. Yeah,
I'm guessing Caicedo should be in that.
It should be Caicedo, not Pazuma.
I love it, oh, guys. I see Pazuma being a nightmare for us. Pazuma returned. I've noticed that. I'm going to ask him. So, Caicedo cost 4.5 million. Senzo will be the next big success. Potter will take his time, giving him minutes like he did with Caicedo, only 18 as well. So Foxy knows his stuff.
He does, yeah.
Got the badges today in the post. Oh, brilliant, Jan. Fantastic. It's a little St James's Park badge. I'm glad they started to turn up. Took a little while then, and we've seen that one bit already. Right, Maro, your turn to shine. Tell us about the team and where it's going to be won. But obviously Nick Pope's out now, so Dubravka could be there instead. But we don't think Botman will start though, do we?
Yeah, after the last game, probably it will be a Bernshar again, and they deserve to play again, although Botman is a world-class player for already probably, but I like the look of that team. I think I respect Brighton. I'm in fear of Brighton, but I think if we play to our strength, we might get 3 points tomorrow.
Where do you think the danger is going to come from for us to, if you're looking at the Brighton team, that's the formation they're playing. Who do you think is going to shine for us, do you think? Bruno aside, of course, because Bruno always shines, but do you think Miggy's got his chance?
Bruno always shines. I think it could be Maxi's time to shine tomorrow. I like the look of him in this preseason and the first game. He looks like a totally different player. He even tracks back. He is a more of team player. He passes sooner than before, and I think tomorrow it might be his day. I hope so at least.
Yes. So just to let everyone know, Botman's probably going to be on the bench and Byrne will start, and there's a chance that Pope will be dropped because of an injury and Dubravka could be in there. Mike, are you scared of that team? A little bit worried? Obviously, you got home advantage, which always helps.
Yeah, not if our form was anything like last year. It's like our away form was better than our home form. I mean, look, that team's got like loads of players that could hurt us in there. So Maximin is obviously, the pace of him is brutal at times. Bruno in the midfield, and then you've got someone like Willock coming from deep who can and sort of come from deep and get behind your defenders. So there's players there that can hurt us without a doubt. I think Potter would have worked on some of those threats in training, but you would hope so anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the games between us and you are always tight. I don't, apart from when Bruce was manager, when it was, a bit of a nightmare for you. But I think since Eddie's come in, it's got tight again, and you're a hard team to beat. So I'm not going in any illusions that we're sort of going to walk this. So it's going to be a tough game, and there are players on that pitch. Even Callum Wilson on his day can cause problems at the back, find that bit of space in the box. So there's areas to be concerned about. We can only, as I say, I think the main thing with us will be trying to push the threat of your sort of speed and width back, so that so you're not causing the same threats as you were against Forest.
Yeah,
that's how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. That's this one. Botman and Shaw will have to be alert tomorrow. We think it will be Byrne and Shaw, to be honest with you, Jan. But I would love to see Botman play. What's our record at the Amex like? Well, we're going to come on to stuff like that very, very soon. The other thing about Wilson, Maro, is that he always seems to start the season very well. He's got off 1-1. He wants to go to the World Cup. He's got to be looking to score at least 8-10 goals before the World Cup squad is announced. This is his time to shine, isn't it? It's his last chance.
Yeah, he's 30 and probably his last chance at the World Cup. He started well and he seems really motivated by the videos he did with Antonio, if you saw that one. And I hope he won't get injured. That's the only fear about him. We never question his quality or his ability to score. It's always his injury record and whether he'll get injured or not. So I just hope he avoid injuries. And I think if he does, he can really get into that World Cup squad because he's in much better form than some of the other strikers in the team besides Kane.
Yeah, there's not many of them other than Kane, really, when you think about it. Maybe Tammy Abraham, but I don't know if they've started their season yet in Italy, have they? So not good, Paul, but we've got better players now. Yes, the There's another thing that's happened today. Dennis has joined Forest. Another great signing for Forest. That's like 12 or 13 new players, Mike. Do you rate Dennis? I thought he did all right in the Premier League last season, but I don't think he really set it alight, did he?
No, I think I was more sort of looking at Sarr as being the one that would be the one signed. But Dennis, yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer for Forest going for a player like that. He scored in the Premier League, so but don't think he caused us many problems when we played them. So, but obviously we don't know much about goal scorers, so I'm not going to diss him too much. Yes, right.
I think Maro, we fancied Dennis, didn't we? We would have had Dennis over Sarr, to be fair. But what do you make of Forest making those moves again?
I think he will be a good signing for them. Not sure where he will play with Brennan Johnson and Lingard, or he will play more centrally or on the wing. But I think they assemble a good team. It's always a risk for a newly promoted team to get so many new players, as Fulham showed a couple of years ago. But if they do manage to get them gelled in and playing to their potential, they could easily avoid the relegation this season.
We'll see. Jan's going to be at the game. Go on, Jan. Get some pictures for if you don't mind, and send them on Twitter. That would be awesome. Twitter. Yay. I would like to have them for the show tomorrow night. That would be good. Right, let's have a look at some stats, the last little part of the show before the sun sets on Mike. Last 3 matches. So obviously the Brentford game, a friendly, didn't go Brighton's way, but then the 5-1 thrashing, and then the amazing result at Old Trafford last weekend, 2-1. We're on a bit of an unbeaten run. Won 1-0 against Atalanta of Italy, and then 2-1 Atletico Bilbao, which was a great game, to be honest. See, Wilson and Gucci scored. And then obviously the 2-0 opening victory against Forest, which was very comfortable with a Shaw screamer and a Callum Wilson lovely flick finish. So, I mean, both teams, Mike, seem to be in good form. So it is going to be a difficult battle tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. The game against Brentford, incidentally, we played a B team against them. So it was like Ivan Toney scored, but I think he rested about 6 or 7 players in that game. But yeah, I saw him against Espanyol, and they looked pretty good. But yeah, so it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be it's not going to be a 3 or 4-0. Hopefully not. Yeah, so I think it's going to be as tight as it was last year. Yeah. And I mean, people with Callum Wilson last year, I mean, he got Sanchez sent off last year. He went round Sanchez and Sanchez brought him down, and that's, so he's got the potential to cause us trouble and to get a place in England. Why not? We're not like sort of now with strikers. Yeah, I mean, we've got Harry Kane. That's the main one. Tammy Abrahams, like you say, but you start going down. Ollie Watkins isn't playing at the moment. So you start thinking, Calvert-Lewin. So you start thinking, who else? Yeah. So why not? He's got a chance. It's a one position where he could actually sneak in.
Definitely. Head to head. So since 45-46 season, a long time ago, it's been 7-8-10. But since the Premier League era, it's been 1-5-4. Worst win percentage among current teams in the Premier League. So we have the worst percentage of going to the Amex in getting a result. Brighton seem to have the wood over us. In 10 Premier League matches, Brighton have had 7 clean sheets. It's very interesting, isn't it? Last 4 meetings, obviously, we beat them 2-1. That was Eddie Howe's only game against Brighton as Newcastle manager, and it was a tough game at home. We did go 2-0 up, but then, Brighton really pushed us back, and I was biting my nails that day. Obviously, a 1-1 draw. We got spanked 3-0 twice the season before when Steve Bruce was manager. It's it's hard to gauge looking at those stats and trying to pick a winner out of the game because, like we mentioned, Eddie Howe's only managed one of them. Potter's had the wood over Bruce easily. But like I say, it's going to be a much, much tougher game tomorrow. Maro, looking at the stats and that, do you see any, can we actually turn the phone book around tomorrow?
I think so. Stats are always interesting to look and to check and everything, but I think there is no way to compare Newcastle with the new owners and Eddie Howe at the helm to Steve Bruce or any of the other managers under Ashley. So I think we have a good momentum, although small sample of games, but we have a good momentum. And if we start well, if we score first, I think we will win that game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think whoever scores first could potentially win the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be tight, though. It's going to be very tight. Ref watch. So Graham Scott will be the ref. He's 53. He resides from Oxfordshire. He supports Swindon Town. I bet he doesn't. I bet he's a Man United fan. Yes, as a referee, 16. Debut in the Premier League was on the 29th of November 2014. Years with regular Premier League assignments, 7. So that means he's only done Premier League games for 7 years. No championship or anything like that. Total number of NUFC games refereed 9, and it doesn't look good reading for us. We've only won 2, we've drawn 4 and lost 3 of them. But we did win the last game he refereed, and we lost the last game he refereed. Sorry, it was Wolves away. We got beat 2-1, and we had 2 yellow cards given that day. His Premier League stats: total matches 98. He averages nearly 3 cards a game, 5 yellows, 11 straight reds, and he's given 23 penalties. And in the blind box, as we like to call it, the VAR box, Craig Parson will be doing it. Mike, you must be a little bit buoyant reading those stats on the referee when it comes to what he's done to Newcastle in the past.
I mean, I don't read too much into that. I mean, I know there are referees that seem to not like teams, but after that refereeing show like last weekend, I just, it's I thought it was going to get better and it hasn't. So it'll be interesting. I don't think this is going to be I hope it's not down to the refereeing. I think it's going to be down to just tactics and which players sort of get the upper hand tomorrow. I think that's going to be particularly in the middle of the park. But like you say, I think it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah, very tight. Right, last little question for you, Mike, before we finish. What's the score going to be?
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to go Brighton, obviously, because it's my team. But I'm just going to – it's going to be like 1-0, 2-1. So I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1. Brighton.
Maro, where are you sitting?
I think it will be a tough game, but we start good, score first. I think we will win 2-0.
Ooh,
all respect to Brighton.
A clean sheet as well. Wow.
Yeah, we seem to get them really often and good lately, so I think it will be a clean sheet.
Yeah, Dan Burn will be very, very tough to get past at his old stomping ground, wanting a clean sheet, won't he? So they might find it difficult to get past him, but you never know. I'm going 1-1. I'm sitting on the fence, I'm afraid, boys. I'm a fence sitter. I've sat on the fence quite a bit this weekend with Super 6 as well. I think I've got 3 draws in it out of the 6 games. So I do think this was a very tough game, and I always said I'd take a point to Brighton away when I saw the fixtures when they came out. Jan thinks we'll win 2-1. Keep an eye out for the channel tomorrow, because we will put all our predictions together from the Gallagher girls and also the boys. We'll put it in the little video so you know what we're all going for. We're going to do a little table in a competition to see who's the best out of all of the Through Black and White Eyes family members. It's going to be very interesting. 1 point for a result and 3 points for a correct score. So I'm hoping for a 1-1. Foxy says 1-1 as well. So there you go. The final question, Mike, because I think it's a good one to finish on. Where do you think Brighton are going to finish this season? I mean, personally, I think he's going to be pushing for that top 10 again.
I mean, that would just be amazing. I mean, to have another season like last season would just be so good. And I was a bit unsure, like last week, sort of going into a game, and I know Man United are brittle, but it's Ten Hag's first game and you're a little bit unsure other players are going to react to that. So I was a bit more scared of that result and that Man United might turn us over. But after seeing the way we played then, if we can take that form forward, there's no reason why we couldn't finish around where we were last year. 9th might be pushing it, but maybe 10th, anything from 10th to 12th. I'd take that. I'd take that all day. Anything above that, if we get anywhere near the European place or anything like that, that'll just be phenomenal. But obviously, that's just when we get close to the end of the season, we have a better idea of that sort of thing. But I would take anything from 10th to 12th. Would be good.
Raging Phoenix says 9 for Brighton, 8 for Newcastle. Maro, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with Mike. As I said, I always have the soft spot for Brighton. I always love that team. And I think they should have no problem finishing top 10, 12, and with some luck, even around European places, maybe 7th or something like that. So, yeah, if we are 6th, they can have the 7th place.
Yeah. Just as the banner's going along the bottom, hashtag Potter for England. Let's get it trending because we do not want Eddie Howe going anywhere near the England job.
Let's not get this trending. Let's get Eddie Howe for England trending.
I'm going to get Toon Poles on the case and we're going to blow it out of the park. If we can get Nick Pope trending, we can get Potter for England trending, I'm telling you. I mean, he is a great manager. Very quickly, though, but just tell us how good Potter is.
I mean, the team plays the best football I've ever seen in the Amex. Closest to that was Gus Poyet. But the best team I've seen in the Amex. But, I mean, he's just phenomenal how he tactically sets teams out. I mean, you saw that against Man United. They tried a high press and he just totally changed our tactics. We went long at times. We bypassed their press and they didn't know how to handle that. And that's what you find with him. He thinks all the way through the game. I mean, he will be a phenomenal manager for England. And he will be a phenomenal manager for a top 6 side. But I'm hoping that's a long time in the future and not soon. So
I think Pep's pipped him for Man City, hasn't he, really?
He said, I mean, the thing is with something like that is, yes, Pep and Klopp always come out. Normally it's when they've beaten us, so that's when they come out and say what a great manager he is. But Man City, it kind of depends on where their owners sit with this, whether their owners would take that and would go with that kind of progressive long-term vision, or whether they would panic and go for
a big name again.
A big name, yeah, which the supporters, like Man United, could have easily gone for Potter this time. And a lot of their supporters like that, Mark Goldbridge and people like that, were going, well, Potter needs to do another job before he goes to Man United. And it's like, why? So their sort of hesitation is look, I'm a realist. I know Brighton will one day lose him. And Man United's hesitation and teams like that is going to be someone else's gain in the long term. Because the guy, I can't praise him high enough. He's phenomenal. When he went through a bad patch last year, he didn't make any excuses. He just said, look, we'll come out of this. And we did, and he tried the same things. He didn't panic, start going long or direct. He just tried the same things and we came out of it, and boy, did we come out of it 4-0 Man United, 3-1 West Ham. That's, so...
huge results.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, like I know you guys think highly of Eddie Howe, and we think the same with Graham Potter. He's the longer Gary Southgate's in the England job, the longer Pep stays at Man City, that's all fine by us.
I love it. What's this one? I hope for more new signings from the 21 so they can go for promotion maybe next year. It would be good for the Premier League One against teams Chelsea, Man United. I think in future Newcastle will build Chelsea youth. Yeah, we are trying to do that. And we signed a new goalkeeper today to join the ranks, which is great. Someone, Foxy obviously knows a lot about Brighton. He's obviously a big fan. Lamptey hardly gets a mention these days. Is he being injured again, or is he just coming back still? Or
I think Graham Potter's kind of managing Lamptey after having a serious injury. He's still pretty much in the plans. He came on against Man United, and I think he will feature a lot more this season. But what Graham Potter is really good at doing is managing players. He won't rush them back. Fans will clamour for him to be in the team, and he will be. That's not the right way to manage him. And he might be having a great game, and he pulls him off after 70 minutes, and everyone's like, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, "Because the guy's come back from a serious injury, which could lead to him having another serious injury." He would do the same thing to Jakob Moder when he comes back. He'd do exactly the same. Because you want these players around, you want the longevity, you want them to be around, you want them to be in the squad long term. You don't want to rush them back so they play good for 2 or 3 games and then they're out for another 6 or 7 months. So that's why Lamptey, the way he's managing Lamptey, but I do expect him to get more game time this year.
I believe that's a yes, isn't it? Is Brighton's under 21s taking players from abroad? Then I think Dan will do the same.
We have, and Foxy said about Enciso, who's gone into our 23. We just signed someone from Man City, so the recruitment's still going into our 23s and under 18s. And that's what you've got. You're going to, because you've got money, Newcastle, you will get fans that will expect you to be spending money like it's going out of fashion. Not going to happen like that. Newcastle have got the same vision as Brighton, which is why they signed Dan Ashworth. It's a long-term sustainability, lay a foundation for the future, push slowly and progressively for European football, and then you push on to compete with the likes of Liverpool, Man City. This isn't an overnight thing. This is something that's long-term, and it's a sensible approach. You've got owners with money who are very savvy in what they're doing. They know about financial fair play and the implications of that. You don't have to look at the horror show that's going on at Barcelona at the moment.
Barcelona, Everton.
So I'd just say with your fans, stick to the plan. You're going to see players going into the under 23s, under 18s. You're going to see good signings coming into your first team, and it's going to be a long-term project. And the future's only good for Newcastle, without a doubt.
Well said, Mike. Any last words on that, Maro?
Oh, I agree with everything Mike has said, and I personally like it that way. I know that a lot of fans have been moaning about us not already signing right winger, center striker, or more players or bigger players, but after 14 years of Mike Ashley, I'm just embracing this new approach. And when you think about it, it's unbelievable. Some of the players, Botman, Bruno, that we brought for 40 millions, and they are really world-class players. And Trippier, they brought for 15 millions, Target for 12. I like that approach. And even if it takes us a year or 2 or 3 longer, I really like and support everything they do, and both Eddie Howe, Dan Ashworth, and the owners absolutely enjoy.
Yeah, it's a 5-10 year plan, so we've just got to live with it.
The thing is, like with Arsenal, it's a completely different approach. They're under different sort of pressure. They're under pressure that there's a team that's had a long history of like winning a league title and success in recent years, and Arteta's building something. You can see it every year. They're progressing further, but their fans are so impatient for something more, and the owners hopefully will stick with him and will stick with the vision that he's doing there, because I think them firing Arteta might be a backward, another step that puts them backwards. But Newcastle really shouldn't compare themselves to Arsenal, because you're a much better run club and you've got a much better sustainable future than Arsenal will have the way they're going. It's a short-term vision that they're trying to catch, and it's not a good look.
No, I mean, I suppose they can go short-term because they've had that success and they're sustaining, top 6 easily, Arsenal. So yes, they can, throw money at it to try and get into the big 4. Well, we can't, because we're literally building from crap. We've literally been sitting at the bottom of the pile for 14 years, 2 relegations, one or 2 decent cup runs in those 14 years, and that's it. There's been no European. There's been European football once in 14 years, and even then we were short on players in the squad, and no investment made. So again, I mean, Jan says it won't take less than 5 years to get into Europe. That's right. We might nick 7th and get into the Europa League. But what Mike's saying is, the long-term longevity future of the club from 5 to 10 years, you'll start seeing the under-18 players then start breaking into the first team in about 4 or 5 years' time. You know, the plan is to buy young, to get them to progress, and then also add into the first team to make them stronger as well. So in about 5-10 years' time, you will see the fruits of the labour that Dan Ashworth's doing. That's what we're talking about. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it. And I know there's a lot of older generation who'll be like, well, I want to see us win a trophy now. I want to see us win a trophy before we die. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. I've been waiting, 40 years of my life and still not seen a trophy. So there we go. So Dan, I have a lot of scouts in South America when he was in Brighton. Caicedo, McAllister, Diamonds in my eyes, they are. Mike, the Brighton guy, has been really good tonight. Top man he is. And he's on every Tuesday as well on the Premier League show. He knows his stuff. And yeah, I agree. Hey, that's the end of the show. Thank you so much again, Mike, for doing this. You know, we appreciate it. Maro,
yeah, no problem.
thanks for coming on as well. And I believe Pete's going to be hosting the Premier League review show next Tuesday on his channel. So if anyone can make it, that would be great. But me and Maro will be back tomorrow night to review either the loss, draw, or win. Let's hope it's a win. And we wish Mike all the best for the season. And I'm
yeah,
sure
you too, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Really enjoyed the show, guys. Thanks for joining in the chat, and we'll see you again hopefully tomorrow night. Take care till then.
Yeah.
Bye.